Bow. Brought the bow back.
Again. You're on fire today.
I'm on fire. Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Wise Advice Podcast. I'm your host, FatDag.
Good morning, everybody. It's Janine.
Janine.
We haven't thought of a cool name yet.
No, but you're cool all alone, so you don't need a cool name. You're just cool. Just cool. That's it. Just cool.
Sweet.
So, hey, Thanksgiving weekend's coming right up. Woo! It just feels like just yesterday we had the Halloween holiday, and here we are rolling into the week prior to Thanksgiving. We're going to hit the road. We're going to head down south, put our toes in the water, our butt in the sand, I guess, so to speak, as the song goes. We're going to do that this weekend for Thanksgiving, so looking forward to a little road trip. Had a great time last night. Catch up on a couple things that we're doing. We went to kind of kick off the holiday season. We went to the Good Samaritan Network of Hamilton County here in Indiana. They do a festival of trees, and they have, I don't know, probably a dozen or more designers that come in and design Christmas trees around different themes and then auction them off for charity. So I figured since we sold the house and sold everything inside the house that we needed a new Christmas tree. So I figured we'd go to this event and pick up a new Christmas tree. But Janine had other plans.
They were $2,400 and they were huge.
We
have a little tiny house right now.
Yeah. So amazing event. The folks, give a shout out to them, the Good Samaritan Network here of Hamilton County. Just in the Christmas tree auction alone of 10 trees, they raised a little over $23,000, which was absolutely fantastic. So I was bidding on a Land of the Free themed Christmas tree, and it just got out of reach quickly. So I had to put my paddle down and quit bidding. But you can see all the pictures of the trees on my Instagram. Go to Wise Advice on Instagram. You can see I put pictures of all the trees out there. But just curious which one you would have bid on had you been there. They're all gorgeous. And so I think we'll make this an annual event. It seemed kind of fun.
So?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty cool.
So next year we'll get a tree. We'll have to save some more pennies. So got a great show for you today. Because of the Thanksgiving holiday, we probably won't do a show next week. So we've included a third email in this show for you. So this will be a little longer than normal, or than recent, I should say. I think we have Julie, Becky, and Catherine coming up in this email. So in this show. So that's the game plan. Going to run through those, but you know the deal, right? I mean, this is, the inbox is what keeps this show going. On air at fatdag.com. That is what makes this work. So you email in, you tell us what's going on, you ask some questions, you tell us your story, you share your story, and we share that with the group and just kind of walk through it together. You'll hear a little bit in the show as we go through some kind of tips, I guess, for how to re-get yourself engaged. And I saved it for the last email. I didn't do it intentionally, but I want to save that to the end and just dig deeper into that. So be sure to listen all the way through. Again, on air at fatdag.com. That's where you can email in. You can find some interaction with me on Twitter and on Instagram. My brain fried here just for a second. I'm not on Facebook as much anymore.
It's my job now to tag you in things so people know you're still alive.
Exactly. I tell you, though, that's been kind of one of the most freeing things. I honestly did it for my mental sanity, believe it or not. It was just, there's just too much going on Facebook. I couldn't keep up, and I kept getting sucked in. So I just said, no, I'm done, and pulled the plug, and life has been good ever since. So, it is what it is. So,
but you're still on the FatDag page and the Wise Wingman page.
Everyone's
your personal page.
Yeah, I don't have it on my phone anymore, so I have to do it from the studio or from my computer, or on occasion I'll reach over and grab your phone.
Yeah, and make comments as me.
I don't think I do that, do I?
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I don't think I do that. So anyway, so that's it. Anything else before we roll into the first email?
No, I've enjoyed the interaction in the Wise Wingman group. I've been in there a little more this week than I have been. Things have been so busy since we sold the house and moved and everything, and shared a few recipes on there this week. And people just seem to be so excited to have, that partnership there and have those people there to talk to and share ideas with. And so it's been fun to be back spending my time in there more than in other places on the internet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's cool. And it's a little more focused, right? It's a little more pleasant,
A lot more upbeat and positive and encouraging.
Right. So get in the Wise Advice Wise Wingman Facebook group. Of course, we're in Discord as well right now. The folks in Discord can hear us recording this live. So if you want to be part of that, you can. There should be some interaction at some point as we figure out how to navigate that platform. But get into the Discord link. I'll put a link in the show notes. I think I forgot to on the last episode, but I'll try and put it in the show notes for this show so you can join us over in Discord as well. So on that note, like I said, we'll talk about Thanksgiving towards the end, but let's go ahead and dive into the first email of this episode. It comes in from Julie out of Napanee, Indiana. Julie says, "Hey, dear Mike, you asked us to write in, so here goes. The past few years have been a blur to me, and, well, both the scale and my body show the evidence. Without going into detail, I'll just say I've experienced good things like the arrival of 3 more grandchildren and a 3-month sabbatical for my husband and I. He's a pastor. I've also experienced surgery, loss of a job, loss of my local WW meeting, the caregiver, death, and emptying the house of my in-laws, and of course, COVID. As a result, I've had 4 years worth of weight gain. The one thing that didn't happen is this. I did not give up. I exercised, I tracked mostly, and I ate mostly healthy foods. On top of that, I gave into a lot of temptations and did plenty of stress and emotional eating. Well, and now FatDag is back. Hooray. You are the voice of reason and the daily encourager that I need. Hearing your podcast again, in addition to not being in crisis mode, have helped me turn things around. For the past 3 days, my mindset and my actions are back on track. I feel like I'm reclaiming control over myself. I hope others who've been going through these challenging times will also realize that it's temporary and that it's possible to get back on track. Never give up. Thanks for listening and for resuming your investment in us. It's valued and appreciated more than you know. Julie out of Napanee, Indiana. So, Julie, thanks for writing in. You're right. I do ask you to write in because I don't prepare any content for the show. I literally go to the inbox and see what Heather and Lisa have pulled out of there and curated, and that's what we turn into the show. So if someone doesn't write in, then we don't record. Pretty easy to see that kind of transition and analogy. So I do want to talk about your kind of opening paragraph. You said, I've experienced good things, like the arrival of 3 grandchildren, 3-month sabbatical. Those are amazing things in life. Congratulations. And you should celebrate those. When you counter those with the other, surgery, loss of a job, and so on and so forth, what we have to remember is change is the piece that throws us on a loop. It doesn't matter if it's good change or bad change. It's if you have a routine and you're traveling down a path and something changes, whether it be amazing, good, bad, indifferent, that change forces our habits to change. And so what we have to kind of realize is anytime we deviate from where we were headed, we have to then look and say, what can I do to right the ship, to bring it back into the direction that I really want to head? So it doesn't matter if it's good change or bad change. And I think sometimes a lot of us feel like it's only the negative stuff that can derail us, but we often kind of forget that sometimes the positive stuff can do that as well.
Yeah, I mean, our move was by far one of the most positive things we've done in recent years for us, and it still has thrown us for a loop. And I feel like we're just now getting into a routine and getting back on track and doing all the things we need to do in many different aspects of our lives. Even getting back from a week of vacation is a positive thing, but it's a change that uproots your routines and your systems that you have in place. So I think any change, good or bad, like you said, can be a huge disruption in your life.
Yeah. And you just have to recognize it. That's the challenge. It's not easy, right? But you have to recognize, and that's why we have things like, if you're a daily weigher, or you have to have something that kind of gives you that visual cue or that stark reminder that things have changed. Because you don't recognize slow change is very hard to recognize. And so if you don't recognize it, all of a sudden, boom, then it becomes that slippery slope and you're too far gone. And then you really have to kind of go extreme to make adjustments. So you've got to put something in place, and it's different for everybody, but you got to put something in place to recognize that, hey, I used to do this every single day. Now I'm not doing that. And that was helping me. So how did that, how did I deviate from that? And how do you recognize when you're not doing something? And that's a question we all have to ponder, and we have to figure out how we recognize when we've slowly started to deviate. But the amazing thing that you did, which I stress to everyone, is you didn't give up, and you stayed committed to wanting to improve your health. And that's the most valuable piece that anyone can offer anybody, is that you have to say, no, this is important to me. I just never want to give up. I will always stay in the mindset of I want to improve my health, especially now for 3 grandchildren. And especially now that you're kind of off of work for a little bit, right? Enjoy that time together. But you have to, recognize that not giving up continues to fuel you in that right direction.
Right. And I love that she said she didn't give up and she reclaimed control. That just shows me that she realizes this is just a chapter. It's not her whole story. I think sometimes people get so muddled up in what's going wrong in their world, or just that things are a little out of whack and chaotic, and can just so easily slide into those old routines and those unhealthy routines and not be able to pull themselves back out. It's kind of a vicious cycle. You're not taking care of yourself. You don't feel good. It's harder to have the mental strength to pull yourself out of it. And it just kind of continues and spirals from there. So I think it's wonderful that she herself, has said, I'm reclaiming control. I'm not giving up, and I'm going to do this. Being mentally focused is half the battle.
Yeah, it's more than half the battle, but it's absolutely at least half the battle for sure. And I like the piece where she says at the end, me being the voice of reason and the daily encourager that she needs. It helped her kind of turn things around and kind of get out of crisis mode. But what I want that to be understood as your focus has come back. And it doesn't matter if it was me, if it was somebody else, something, you were ready to hear the message. And so, there's a lot of inspirational stuff everywhere, but if your mind isn't ready to understand it, listen, take it in, it doesn't really matter. So the fact that me coming back as the voice of reason for you also tells me too that you're coming back into yourself, saying, I'm ready now. You think about it, there are Instagram accounts that we slowly stop unfollowing and we quit looking at because we just don't want to be reminded, because we're heading in a different direction. And so the fact that you've now opened back up and said, no, this is what I welcome into my feed, good, whether it be a podcast, whether it be a social media post, whatever, it gives you that, it tells me that you're ready to dive back in with both feet and just really take control of your health.
Well, and Julie listed some things that, have been a struggle in the past years. And if we had a live audience and we asked them, how many of you felt losing those in-person WW meetings affected your journey, I think most of them would raise their hands. I think that was a big thing for a lot of people. And that's why we always talk about diversifying the tools that are in your toolbox. It can't just be one thing that's keeping you on track in this journey. It can't just be the podcast. It can't just be WW. It can't just be Wise Wingman or Connect or whatever it is. It can't just be one thing, because if that one thing goes, then you've lost your motivation. You've lost your connection to what you were trying to do, to your mission. So I think it's kind of buried in the middle of her email, but I think it's a pretty significant point that was a huge thing for a lot of people. And coming during the time of COVID just kind of amplified everything that was already happening around them, feeling even more isolated, I think, in a lot of cases. So I think that's a big reminder to really make sure you have lots of different things accessible to you to help you on this journey, so that if one is no longer there, you can still continue.
That's a great point, especially when we talk about drifting from things, right? If you miss one meeting and all of a sudden you miss 2, the third one's very easy to miss. The next thing you know, you've gone 4 months and you haven't been to a meeting, but you kind of forgot that you used to go. So having supplemental tools may kind of help you find that balance. And so, great question. And Julie, also, just to kind of fill you in a little bit as to where we've been and what I've been up to. Yeah, still working in the cybersecurity field, enjoying that, doing really, it's just busier than I thought it was going to be, really. And in a good way, right? I'm just slammed pretty much all day long, taking care of the cyber criminals, not taking care of them, but, tracking down the cyber criminals and doing restoration work to, from the damage that they've done. Like I said, it's an amazing, rewarding career, but I just did not understand how busy it was going to keep me, but really enjoying it. And yeah, just like the rest of us, trying to figure out a way to to really reclaim my health as well. Of course, if you've listened to the podcast, we sold the house, we moved, we live next to a fitness facility, we live on a trail. We're getting out and getting active more. And I've got to bring a handle still back into the eating side of things, which we're slowly ramping up. But yeah, things are going really well for us. And I think that's the piece that I want to celebrate is that, we made this intentional move to really shake things up in our world. And, Megan went to college and it was just Janine and I in this house. And we're like, no, what can we do to shake things up? And we're shaking things up quite well and enjoying it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So
sometimes a change of scenery is a big thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes all the difference.
It sure does. So Julie, again, thanks for writing in. Thanks for finding your focus. Thanks for coming back into the mix here. And, let us know how we can help. Reach out to us however you feel most appropriate. And let's go ahead and get this done and continue to enjoy your journey to a much better, happier, positive life. So thanks so much. The next email comes in from Becky. It said, it's so good to hear your voice again. I would love to come to your open house. You can do this. Just never give up. I'm 66 years old, retired recently, and had bariatric surgery 20 years ago last August. I successfully lost 120 pounds. However, over time, I put back on about 40. In the past 2 years, I've taken that off, but I'm still obese. I've never been able to get under 195. I know that's better than 326 where I began. I have many excuses for not exercising. I love to walk, but I have AFib, sciatica, hypoglycemia, hypothyroidism, urge incontinence, and the latter causes me to isolate at home, and I'm sure I'm having depression from that. I'm always trying something new diet-wise. I've been successful on WW, but I switched to iTrack Bites. I discovered that eating 23 points only gave me about 800 to 900 calories, and everyone says that I'm just not eating enough. Well, then I tried counting macros or calories, but anyway, people tell me how good I look, but inside I'm dying. I know you know. Sincerely, Becky. Becky, I love the raw honesty of your post, and I think, or your email here. I think that's where true healing and true help begins, is when you finally say, here's where I'm at. Here's what's going on. And then you really reach out for help and allow people to bless you and to embrace you and to just kind of share things with you to kind of maybe just get you thinking differently or better. And I want to start at the bottom of your email because I think that's the most important. People tell me how good I look. And, that's something that generally people don't offer for no other reason other than they mean it sincerely. People are quick to tear you down. They're not real quick to build you back up. So you have to trust when someone says something positive to you, that has to carry more weight, pardon the pun, that has to carry more weight than anything else, any of the negative stuff that you may hear day in, day out. If someone goes out of their way to compliment you, take it. And even if you don't feel it at the moment, even if you're dying inside, which I do relate to, even if you're in that state, you can say, you know what, why did that person go out of their way to say this? And so, okay. And so that person remembers the entire journey. All right. And they remember you and say, I get what's going on. And that's where they can say, Becky, you look great. And they mean it, right? So with all sincerity. So just keep that in mind. That's where I kind of want to start.
Yeah, Becky, I'm looking through your email and I'm seeing that, you went from 326 to 195 pounds. And I hope that even with the excuses, as you call them, and even with how you're feeling right now, I hope you took some time to be proud of that. That is an amazing accomplishment. And even though you've gained some of it back and then took it back off, you are showing throughout all of this, even though you may be feeling very alone, you are showing that you are focused, you are committed to yourself, and you are committed to doing what it's going to take to make you feel better and feel healthy. Being home alone, I'm sure, makes it hard, not having that accountability partner, feeling like you're alone on this journey. I would encourage you to try to find some way to connect with others who understand this journey and what you're going through and the ups and downs of it, whether it be a friend, again, connect, Wise Wingman, whatever it is for you, whatever works. Even if it's following people on social media that have the same message and the same goals you have, just something to help you feel connected and to get you back to a place where you feel good about where you're at and want to continue forward.
That's an amazing point. And I've said this all along, is if you go from 326 to 196 or 197 or wherever you are, it doesn't matter. But, you're using that 195 as your measure for success. And I want to tell you that nothing could be further from the truth. The 195 isn't your measure of success. The fact that you are better and you've improved yourself is the measure of success. And the fact that you've not given up and that you've continued to do, that's the measurement of success. And I think so many times we put ourselves in this mindset where a specific number defines our success. And man, nothing could be further from the truth. And I over exaggerate. I said, if you started off at 2,000 pounds and you got yourself down to 500, your doctor would be thrilled, right? Because you have completely saved your life. Sure, it's an over-exaggeration, but in your scenario, your numbers 326 to wherever you are now is incredible, and your doctors are thrilled. Your people are telling you look good. So I want you to shift all of your energy into, okay, I did this. People are recognizing it. I've improved my health. Let me celebrate that, just like Janine said. Let me pause and say, damn, I did a really good job, and I'm continuing to do a good job. And, let's talk about the excuse side of things, because that's a real trap. Every one of us face it. And, there's plenty of opportunities for us to do something that doesn't, lead into the direction that we want to do. And we can call them excuses or whatever, but there are things that come into our journey that we kind of have to recognize. And, when you talk about the medical side of your journey, I can tell you a couple of things that have inspired me lately, and I don't know if Janine's noticed this or not, but I work from home, and the house that we're in currently, no exaggeration, from our windows, I can see the walking trail behind me, and and as the leaves are now starting to fall off, the trail becomes a little more visible. But I have noticed on many occasions, the people who are out on this trail, they aren't they're out there too. The fitness buffs, right? They aren't it isn't the Olympic parade going by. It is a mixture of society that walks by this trail. And the things that inspired me recently is I saw two gentlemen out there the other day, both pushing walkers down this trail. And so the reason I think that's amazing is because where our house sits, the closest parking lot, about a quarter of a mile at least. And so, they don't just pop in the middle of this trail. So by the time they get to our house, they've gone at least a quarter mile, and they have to go back. And every once in a while, I'll see them on the trail, and they're sitting on the fence, and they're taking their time. But the point being is, if you're determined to do it, and that's what you want to do, nothing can get in your way of doing it. So, medical conditions, and hey, this is me preaching to myself at this point too, right? Medical conditions aside, we have to find ways to adapt and use the pieces that we can do and dig deeper into that side of it.
Well, and I think the mental health aspect comes into that too. Not everyone who's out there walking on the trail is doing it because they need to get so many steps, or they need to burn so many calories, or they need to have so many minutes of exercise. I think a lot of people go out there, especially right now, it's so beautiful with the leaves and everything.
Well, not today. It's pouring.
Well, not today. It's pouring. But normally it's beautiful out there. Some of you may have seen the video of us bike riding down there while the leaves were changing. But for a lot of us, it's a mental health thing. I know for me, after work, getting on that trail, getting my feet moving, and just being outside and breathing fresh air is more valuable to me than how many steps I'm getting. Oftentimes, I don't even check how many steps I've gotten while we're out there walking, or even how long we were out there walking. There have been so many times we've come home and I'll say, how far did we go? I don't even know, because it just doesn't matter. For me, it's that mental health piece. And once that gets good, everything else sort of falls into place,
There really isn't an app that measures how much fresh air you were able to breathe, right? And how much mental clarity developed as you're out just taking care of yourself. We get hung up on, and I've been there, right? We get hung up on the numbers and how many steps and how much does the scale say and how many macros and how many calories. And, and man, you can over math yourself to death in this thing. And the reality is, I think a lot of us know when we're eating our fifth cheeseburger that it's probably too many, right? We don't need an app to remind us that. And if you go out for a walk and you come home and it ends up being, 8,999 steps, you're not a failure because you didn't get to 9,000, whatever your goal was. And so maybe, I'm thinking through this as I say it here for the first time, but maybe it's time to ditch some of that stuff, right? And really just be present in the activity as to what you're doing and what the benefit of it is versus did I get the right number? Did I win? Did I play this video game well and get the high score for the day? Man, it's irrelevant if you're not enjoying it and it's not providing the mental clarity that you're going through. And I think a lot of us, we go through that and then we search for different tools that work, and we search between WW and I Track Bites and keto and, whatever the plan du jour is. And the thing that, I'm an analogy person, we're getting ready to take off and go to Florida here coming up in a couple of days. And of course we're going to drive down because I just enjoy being on the open road and just behind the wheel. But what we're going to do is we're going to figure out the route before we take off. And we're going to follow that route the entire time. And if while we're driving, that route becomes closed, we will seek out a new route. And the reason I share that, it's kind of like we have to form a plan and we have to say, here's what I'm doing. As you continually, navigate, it would be difficult to drive and say, I know where I'm going, but at every intersection, I'll figure out if I want to go left or right. And you would drive yourself crazy for one. And two, you may never get there because we have to ask you, which plan are you following? Which map are you following? Which route are you following? So I would always recommend find something that works for you. And I know that's the challenge, is finding what works for us, but really what works for us is what we do most consistently because we enjoy it. And so I don't care if that's WW, I Track Bites, keto, Whole30, whatever there's so many in South Beach, if that's even still a thing. If you can do it consistently and it's providing a health benefit to you, stick with it, right? Fine. But you got to love doing it. That's the piece more than anything.
Well, and I think that's, when we go back to having someone with you on the journey, an accountability partner, I think sometimes we get so stuck on we have to find somebody whose journey is exactly the same and who's doing everything that I'm doing and who's right in the middle of this weight loss journey. And sometimes that's not always the case. You and I are kind of accountability partners, and I'm not walking for the same reasons you are. I choose certain foods, you choose certain foods, but by working together, we're both making better choices on what we should be eating and so forth. And so I don't think your accountability partner has to be somebody who's on the same journey for the same reason as you, but just somebody who enjoys going for a walk or who is doing the things that you want to do. And you can kind of just inspire each other in different ways, even if you're doing them for different reasons. It doesn't have to be somebody who's doing everything exactly the same as you. Sometimes it's good to have different perspectives and different reasons to do things.
You are stealing my thunder for the next email that comes in from Catherine, but we'll dig.
Sorry.
That's okay. We'll dig deeper into it, but you're right on track. And that is exactly what we need to be focused on and do that. And it's funny, you're right. We do eat differently. And I'll share something with you. And I'm sure you know this, but every time we go out to eat or we have dinner, I'm always jealous when I look over at what you're having. And I mean this sincerely because I'm like, man, I just wish I could do that, because some of it, I know, it just has to feel good to eat good. And I know sometimes there's things that I eat and all of a sudden, minutes later, I'm like, I just feel terrible, but I envy you for that. And I do take cues from you. And I was laughing this morning. What I think I'm going to, for Christmas, I think I'm going to buy you a pill box. One of those pill boxes that has like, you open it up for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm going to buy you one that's 1 through 31. So for a month, and I'm going to put 2 M&Ms in each one, right? Because that's how you, that's as many as you eat a day, right? Because 2 for you is filling, 2 bags for me is filling. And it's you, I don't know, I'm just joking with you in that sense, but I think that's what I need. Actually, I need to ration them out. You already have the ability to do it on your own.
For peanut butter cups.
For peanut butter cups or something. Oh, stop. Anyway, so Becky, thanks for sharing your thoughts. The whole dying inside piece, and really, it's a feeling of being a little bit out of control, as Lisa kind of chimes in with, and through my notes for the show here, and that feeling of getting yourself back in control starts with you just saying, now's the time. I'm going to do something small right now, make a difference, and I'm going to change my life. I'm going to change my path. I'm going to change my direction. Maybe it doesn't start with changing my life. I'm going to change what I can do for the next 20 minutes. Boom. Build on that and just keep growing. So again, Becky, thanks. Any last words, Janine, before we move on?
She mentions being excited for the open house. I think we have a lot of people who are excited for that and just looking for that moment to connect, because a lot of the WW meetings have gone away, or they're in a different location where they don't have a meeting anymore. More to come on that. It has not been lost on our list of things to do. I'm guessing it'll be after the holidays. But we are working on putting together some small, meetups here near the studio. We have a huge conference room next door that we can use. And really looking forward to meeting people. We loved it when you were doing the tour and doing the runs and getting to go out and meet everyone. And we've really missed that piece too. But yeah, more information to come. We have not forgotten. It's in the works.
Perfect. Yep. That's a great reminder. Thanks for sharing. I have a note to mention that and I totally skipped it. So next email here, the last email for this episode. Hopefully you're still out walking. If you're out walking, walk with us for another 10 or 15 minutes as we go through. If you're out riding, whatever it is, give us 10 more minutes. Push yourself. Go pedal a little harder. If you got to dial back to get the time in, dial back a little bit. But let's go for another 10 minutes or so here as we read the email from Catherine. She says, FatDag, hey, where do I begin? I'm elated that your podcasts are coming back. This year and a half has been more than a little challenging for me. Well, as everyone else as well, but I've turned to food and pretty much dropped my usually pretty active lifestyle. I'm tired. I'm uncomfortable. I'm feeling very unhealthy, unhappy with myself, and none of my cute clothes fit me any longer. I feel helpless and I don't know where to begin. Our local Weight Watcher meeting went away due to COVID, and even though others and myself have asked for help to start meetings back up in our community, we're told that it's just not possible. The app alone just doesn't do it for me. I need live and in-person interaction. I'm hoping some of your motivation rubs off on me. I have to get past this. I've been very successful with losing weight and being very active in the past, and I just have to find a way back to that. I look forward to hearing your upcoming podcast. Thanks for sharing your human experience with us, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Well, thanks again. Wishing you and all of us an abundance of success, Catherine from Minnesota. So, Catherine, the key thing I want to focus in on your email initially is we were told that it's just not possible. Man, I want to dig into that, right? So let's go back to how WW was founded, right? It wasn't a corporation that gives people permission to meet. It was, one person who formed her own support group in her living room and brought her friends in, and they just shared conversations and tips and tricks and stories. You have the ability to do exactly that. You don't need a corporation to give you permission. You need to dig deep into, maybe there's people in your community that you already know that you could just reach out to and say, hey, would you like to go for a walk every Saturday morning with me? Would you like to meet at the gym and maybe just sit and have a cup of coffee? We don't have to work out. Maybe we could meet at the library and read a book together. I don't know. But the point is the way this journey works best for me, and I suspect for you, and I believe for many of the other people listening, is understanding that notion that we are not in this alone. And you need to build that support network. And I was joking with Janine earlier when she said she stole my thunder, because that's the biggest piece to this. And I think that's why so many people gravitate to this podcast. And I think that's why the Wise Wingman group is so successful. Discord as well. I think that interaction, but it still doesn't replace that human look you in the eye, read your body language, see the pain on your face, recognize that, hey, I have a similar pain, and knowing that, we can trust each other because we're in that space together. And I know you can build that, right? You don't need a corporate permission to do so. There may be a WW coach in your area who was laid off who would love to meet with 10 to 15 people, at an undisclosed location outside of this, just getting back to the roots. The app is invaluable, right? You can't replace the science that's gone into how the macros work, the math works, the food, blah, 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 all that stuff. You can't replace that. That's going to be hard for any of us to replicate. The piece we can replicate very easily is that human interaction, that human connection with real people who we love, trust, know, and respect. Find someone. And if they're not out there, build it. Go to the Facebook group, Wise Wingman, and start saying, hey, does anyone else live in this town? Anyone else live in that would love to get together for coffee on Saturday mornings, Friday nights, Tuesday nights, whatever it is. Start with one person. If you find one person, the power of networking there takes over. And that's what you have the ability to do. So I'm going to pick on you for a second. Don't tell me it's just not possible. It's not possible in their business model. It's absolutely possible in yours.
Well, and I'd like to even take that another step forward. It doesn't have to be even a weight-related group. Find something that you enjoy doing, because when you know you have people counting on you, like maybe you're helping do trash cleanup in your local community once a week, or you're visiting the senior center and just, playing card games or doing whatever it is there and making that connection. Or you go to the Humane Society and you volunteer to be one of their dog walkers. If you know those puppies, those seniors, those people in your community are waiting for you every week, that is going to motivate you just as much as having an accountability partner who's on a weight loss journey.
That's brilliant.
You know people are waiting.
I need to pause you. That is absolutely brilliant.
Thank you.
Seriously, because it doesn't have to be weight. It's right. You getting out of your shell, out of your comfort zone, but you're getting benefit from it. But right. Dog walking was a perfect example. And the senior center is those people are counting on you.
Right. So when people are counting on you, then you have to be your best. You can't get up on Monday morning and be like, oh, I'm not feeling my best today. I'm feeling a little down. I just want to stay home. And then you're like, oh, the puppies are waiting for me. Oh, so-and-so at the senior center, I promised her I'd play cribbage with her today. Or I think trying to put things in your life that give you a reason to keep going, maybe when you don't feel like it right now, will help you to get over that next hurdle, that next hump. And it's just important to find things that you enjoy doing that make you feel good inside, that make you feel good mentally, make you feel healthy, even if it's not 20,000 steps walking around the neighborhood with somebody. It doesn't have to be weight related.
The puppy doesn't care how much you weigh.
No. Right. It's going to make their whole day. And it's one of those mutually beneficial things, right? You're doing it to help the puppies, to help the seniors, to help the community, whatever it is. But truly, we all know the bottom line of that is you're getting every bit as much of a benefit out of it as they are.
Yeah. Again, I think at this point, you just need to drop the mic, because that's, I wouldn't say it's the most brilliant thing you've ever said in the world, because you're pretty brilliant in yourself. But that was, to even I sit here going, holy cow, that is absolutely brilliant. And find, find someone else who just needs some human interaction.
Right.
Right. And then what that's going to do is it's going to start building up your positive self-esteem as well. And then maybe the fringe benefit is like, I really enjoy walking the dogs, but I can only go for 5 minutes because my weight is holding me back. And now you're motivated to get the weight off so you can take the dog for a 10 or 15 minute walk or whatever that, it can just spiral out of control. So this is the reason you're on the show right here, because you're just absolutely brilliant. So I'm sorry. I would say I'm awed, because I know how brilliant you are, but I'm just very glad you brought that point up. So
thank you.
So thanks for that. And but I think, Catherine writes in and she says in the middle, says, I'm tired, I'm uncomfortable, I'm feeling unhealthy, I'm unhappy with myself. None of my cute clothes fit anymore. And I think what you mentioned too solves some of that, right? Because it now gives you a purpose. It gives you meaning, and it really, gets you back into picking up that healthy lifestyle that you developed before, and you can go out and do it. And there's so many opportunities for, there's so many organizations, especially now. Oh my goodness, right? Especially now, if employers can't find people to work, I can't imagine the communities that rely on volunteers are overstaffed.
Especially this time of the year. The food shelters, like the Festival of Trees we went to, adopting families for the holidays, all of those things. People are counting on you. You may not feel like doing a whole lot today, but it's like, this family's counting on me. I said I was going to help provide Christmas. I have to get up and do this. And like you said, I guarantee you the puppies and the seniors, they're not going to care if your jeans are a size 6 or a 12 or 20. They're not going to care. All they're going to care about is seeing your beautiful smiling face there every day, spending time just with them.
I think what I want to start seeing in the Wise Wingman community, and maybe even we'll create a Discord channel for it, is what are you doing in this lane that benefits you? And maybe
Absolutely.
someone, because there may be people right now that never even thought about going to a dog shelter, never even thought about going to play going to go play cribbage with, senior at the senior center.
Right.
And I don't know, even if you're, probably the schools don't have opportunities for volunteers, but
we do. Actually, we have we have lots of grandmas who come into our library and help restock the books and help the kids pick out books when they're in the library. We have families who come in to help our art teacher hang artwork. So our entire building is decorated only with children's artwork. Teachers right now need help too. We have lots of little things, cutting things out, helping with parties. I think schools are opening up a bit more, but even within our own foundation, we've seen it. We're like, we just need people, doing little tasks here and there that make a huge difference for us that maybe is an hour of their time a day.
Or an hour a week is really,
right.
But it gives you that purpose again. It gives you that motivation to say, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed it too. I've a little bit shied away from some social engagements because I'm just not happy with what clothes I have, what options I have for clothes to wear that evening. Right. And so, but I do know that the more I get out, the more I'm just like, I'm accepting of where I'm at. Here, this is where I'm at and this is what I am. And so I've just accepted it. And so the more I get out and enjoy the human touch, the human interaction, the more I just feel like I want to do it more and more and more. And I know in order to do it more, I've got to take care of myself better to do it more. So, I think I want to kind of end on that note because I think you nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. And told you, if you were starting in the very beginning, I told you want to listen to the end, that I had no idea that was coming.
I just finally woke up. I've been half asleep most of the show. I think maybe that's what it was.
Thank goodness. Here's something else. It's almost noon.
I know, but it's raining and it's Sunday.
Yeah. So on that note, folks, I hope you're out. I said, I hope you enjoyed your walk. I hope you enjoyed your bike ride. Hope you enjoyed your commute to work. Whatever it is you're doing, I hope you enjoyed it. And that we're put on this earth to enjoy it and to interact with each other and make life better for every single other person. And this holiday season coming up it couldn't be more important than to just share your holiday cheer. If maybe you're not in the right moment, you're not in the right headset, right mental headspace right now to share that, I want you to just flip it and find something that you can share with somebody. We, a couple things that we do, we have sponsored a couple of families for the holiday season. And so we're going to go out in the next couple of days and do Christmas shopping for an entire family, including the food, the gifts, the toys. And that puts a smile on our face and it gives us the opportunity to put a smile on someone else's face. And so if you have that ability in some way, shape, or fashion, there's something you can do somewhere to brighten someone's day. And I encourage you to get out and do it because, and I'm going to quote my friend Dan Rooney. Dan says, when you reach out to help somebody, the reality is you're the one that benefits from that. And so if you're in a dark place, first of all, let me give you a big hug. There's no question. You deserve a huge monster hug from me and Janine. But if you're in that dark place right now, I want you to find somebody that you can uplift and share something with to brighten their day, and just watch how your mood slowly starts to increase because you realize that people love each other and can depend on each other, and you're a part of society that's doing that.
Yeah, I've quoted this before on the show months, maybe years ago now, and I'm going to misquote it, and Mike will find it later and post it in Wine with Swingman because he's so good about finding them later. But some of the bravest souls are those who walk through hell and come out of the flames holding a bucket of water for those still engulfed in the moment, engulfed in the flames, something to that point. So even if you're in a dark place, doing something little to help someone else not only helps them, but it does immense things for you. Go out and walk a puppy. Go play cards with somebody. Do something fun. Make use of your Sunday.
I love it.
Guarantee you won't regret it.
Nope, you won't. So on that note, like I said, hopefully you guys, we have a lot to be thankful for. We're incredibly blessed, and to have you guys listening into us, continually just continues to fuel us to do this. But we are going to take next week off. We will be out of town, enjoying the Thanksgiving holiday with our family, our extended family down in Panama City Beach. So we're going to go I guess we're going on a boat or something and going into the ocean something. So if we don't come back, then I guess we
search the Bermuda Triangle, see if we're there.
So that's off the.
Somebody come get Rue and take good care of her.
Oh, Rue's going with us.
Not on the boat.
All right, got it.
She's not much of a boat dog.
Right. So anyway, I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving. I hope I hope you continue to recognize and count the blessings that you do have. Life is not about the things, focusing on the things you don't have. Life is really about appreciating and valuing the things you do have. And one of the things I value is the fact that we are here together, sharing our stories, our lives, stuff that really matters, right? This is raw. This is real. And the fact that you've trusted us to kind of share that message with our audience and our friends and our family here means an awful lot. So from the producers, Heather and Lisa, doing an amazing job with the inbox. Continue to flood them with your messages on air at fatdag.com. That's how you do it. Reach out to me on Twitter, on Instagram, a little bit on Facebook, but let's stay connected. Let's share all the amazing successes, and we will talk to you soon. So on that note, last words.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Let's start a thankful post on Wise Wingman.
Let's do it.
Let's see it.
All right. So FatDag and Janine, we're out. Take care. Cheers.